You're listening to The Bible Guys, a podcast where a couple of friends talk about the Bible in fun and practical ways.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to The Bible Guys. My name is Jeff.
Well, my name's Jeff.
Oh, see, I didn't know how you were going to react, so I just figured I'd throw
My
you
name's
off.
Jeff, and you're Chris?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yeah, so...
Yeah, it's a rough start to the show
the new
today.
year.
It's not going to be any better than this, people.
No. My name is Chris. This is Jeff. We are The Bible Guys, and we just want to thank you for faithfully tuning in.
Yes, it's going to be a good day.
It is. It is
Good
a good day. Yeah. In fact, we're going to start off with a really fun segment called Would You Rather?
Oh,
which is, I think it's
your
my favorite segment.
It's your
I think
favorite.
It is.
Yeah.
Because it's just always fun.
Everybody else's favorite is What Made Chris Mad This Week and When You Sing Good Morning.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, that's
not
it.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take the first one.
Okay.
Would you rather, Jeff, always have a mullet haircut or always have a man bun?
Mullet haircut.
Oh, dude.
You don't have to think twice about that one.
No, not even twice. Not even for a second. And by the way, if you're a person who has a man bun, I'm sure it looks...
Cut it. There's no such thing as a man bun.
I was about to say, no offense, or it looks good on you, though.
No.
But you're like, get rid of it.
Get rid of it. Yeah. Both of these are bad choices, but there's one that's a significantly worse choice than the other.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Hey, tell us how you really feel, Jeff.
Yeah. So here's how I feel. I think mullet haircut guy drives a big pickup truck, has cut off sleeves.
Well, there's a reason why there's a stereotype,
and
right?
he's like, woohoo! Right? Just here, hold my beer. I'm going to go do this thing, right?
Right.
He's just going to. And I think that the man bun guy is sitting in a coffee shop sipping on a chai tea latte.
Right. And
with extra foam.
Right. And he's probably not a guy that you would hang out with.
Anyways,
in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, me. You're talking about me specifically, not our listeners.
Actually, I'm talking about me too, specifically. To be honest with you.
Okay.
So anyway.
Hey, I've hung out with people with man buns.
I just didn't want to say it, but
we have a friend. We have a friend who wears a man bun sometimes, or used to wear a man bun sometimes.
Oh yeah. He was a great guy. Yeah. He was an exception.
We've got a couple. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they just make bad choices. That's all. You look at a person and go, "You're really, really great guy." You just make a bad choice. I'm almost
wondering if we should start this over.
No, he's listening. He knows. You know.
Just slammed man buns. This is terrible.
Would you rather never be able to use the internet again, or never be able to watch TV or movies again?
Ooh, that.
Zarbaugh.
I like movies, but it's the internet. It's the internet. That is.
And this is never, and it's for you only.
Okay, I'm going to say I'd rather never be able to watch movie or TVs again.
Wow. Why, are you going to try to watch movies on the internet?
There it is.
Yeah, see, but it says you can't watch them anyways.
No, I'm not looking for a workaround. I just think that there's no way I could selfishly make an entertainment choice over a the world choice.
No, it's for you. It just says you.
I know. I want the internet for my life.
For your life. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I lived for 40 years without the internet.
It's true.
Right?
Not 40.
30 something years.
Well, it came out in like 94.
Yeah, well, I didn't start using it till 97.
There you go.
So...
Okay, that was a terrible one. Thanks, Desiree.
Yeah. So I would go without the internet.
Holy Christmas.
I think the world's better without it.
Okay. Would you rather live in a world where everyone has to wear roller skates or where everyone has to hop everywhere like frogs?
Oh, roller skates.
Oh, definitely roller skates. First of all, hopping everywhere like frogs. Have you ever tried that?
No, I have not. I mean, I've hopped like a frog before, but I haven't tried to hop everywhere.
Try working out where they make you do lunges even.
Yeah, your calves would be like this big.
Yeah, your quads. I mean, your legs would be just ridiculous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Would you rather have a voice that only sounds like a chipmunk or have a voice that sounds like a cartoon character?
By the way, chipmunks who talk are cartoon characters.
That's correct. Yes.
And so, did you ever see Emperor's New Groove where he goes, right about?
Yeah.
Squeak.
Right.
All right. Gee whiz. I would have to pick cartoon character because
Me too.
Chipmunk it's pretty rough.
Me too.
That's pretty rough.
What cartoon character would you choose the voice of?
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo. Thank you very much. He's got that Elvis voice.
Hey, man, if you're going to pick one, it might as well be cool.
Okay.
What about you?
All right. I was going to say, what's the rooster on...
Foghorn Leghorn?
Foghorn Leghorn, yeah.
But he always repeats, I say. That'd be terrible. That's great. All right.
Okay.
And then I'm reading the last one. Would you rather have your eyebrows constantly sing... What? Would you rather have your eyebrows constantly sing Eye of the Tiger or have your belly button randomly play elevator music?
What?
That is one of the strangest...
This may be a new low on this show.
That is... Desiree, what are you thinking? She's in the other room right now.
She is in the other room. Right.
Wow. Holy Christmas.
Okay. I would say eyebrows singing Eye of the Tiger.
Not me.
Yeah.
Because everybody is going to be fixated on your eyebrows. At least on your belly button, you could just hide it.
Yeah, it'd be people would think you had like a little speaker.
Yeah. And it's like, I just like...
And you can fall asleep to elevator music. It'd be hard at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
You're trying to go to bed. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, okay.
But you know how sick you'd be of that song? Ooh, at least elevator music, it's sort of in the background.
Yeah, it'd just be in the background. Okay, I'm going to change my answer.
Well, no, you can't.
Elevator music.
Can't.
No, I can't?
No,
Ugh, no, I'm stuck with it for the rest of my life.
Who would have ever thought that I would have chosen to go without movies and you would chose to go out of the internet?
Yeah.
People would have predicted the opposite of that.
Yeah.
I was trying to be practical.
Trying to be practical.
And you're like, we don't need it.
We don't need it.
We don't want it.
We don't want it. I'm an old fuddy-duddy. That's a super cool word.
Yeah. Did you ever see Jingle All the Way?
Yes.
Where he says, we don't have any Turbo Mans, but we have their sidekick Booster. And the mailman goes, we don't want it.
Yeah.
We don't want it.
Well, so here's the thing. With my choice, if I hadn't seen Jingle All the Way, I could.
What? Oh.
But with your choice, you can never see it again.
Yeah. Well, it's in my mind.
Yeah.
It'll play back.
You just keep rehearsing it over and over again.
Play back. And movies constantly play back in my mind anyway.
So there's an amazing thing that happened.
What's that?
We had been talking about how we thought we would go back and revisit Proverbs chapter 31.
Oh, and
we're not today.
Oh.
Solomon dies. He slipped up and died on us.
Oh, so we skipped it.
Apparently. So our listeners should read Proverbs 31.
You know what? That is a divided opinion. And speaking of dividing, we're going to be talking about how the northern and the southern kingdoms are divided.
Okay, so we're going to continue this. Okay,
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Terrible transitions is one of our big goals.
Yes.
2025.
Yes, and we accomplished it today.
Yes. And last week, we did it last week too. Okay, so we are in 1 Kings chapter 12, and Solomon has died. The nation had been held together under his very strong rule.
Yes.
But it starts to crumble very quickly.
Yeah.
And so there's 2 guys in this story, Rehoboam and Jeroboam.
I love how those names are awful.
Yes. So Rehoboam.
It sounds like twins, like people are being cute with twins.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Rehoboam and Jeroboam?
Yeah.
Okay. So don't do that to your kids.
Like, you name your kids like Jillian and Joel.
Yes. There you go.
They're paternal.
Or like George and George and George and George and George.
Right. Daryl and his other brother, Daryl.
Yeah. Was George Foreman named like 5 of his kids George?
Yeah, I know. That's great.
That's crazy. That's awesome. Okay, anyways, here we go. In 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 1, it says, Rehoboam went to Shechem, where all Israel had gathered to make him king. And when Jeroboam, son of Nebat, heard of this, he returned from Egypt, for he'd fled to Egypt to escape from King Solomon. Okay, so Rehoboam is Solomon's son. Jeroboam is the guy that God said, hey, you're going to take Solomon's place. Remember when we talked about that a few weeks ago? Mm-hmm. So the leaders of Israel summoned him, and Jeroboam and the whole assembly of Israel went to speak with Rehoboam. Your father was a hard master, they said. Lighten the harsh labor demands and heavy taxes that your father imposed on us, and then we will be your loyal subjects. Rehoboam replied, give me 3 days to think this over, and then come back for my answer. So the people went away. Then King Rehoboam discussed the matter with the older men who had counseled his father Solomon. What's your advice, he asked. How should I answer these people? And the older counselors replied, if you are willing to be a servant to these people today and give them a favorable answer, they will always be your loyal subjects. But Rehoboam rejected the advice of the older men and instead asked the opinion of the young men who'd grown up with him and were now his advisors. "What's your advice?" he asked them. "How should I answer these people who want me to lighten the burden imposed by my father?" The young men replied, "This is what you should tell those complainers who want a lighter burden. My little finger is thicker than my father's waist. Yes, my father laid heavy burdens on you, but I'm going to make them even heavier. My father beat you with whips, but I will beat you with scorpions." 3 days later, Jeroboam and all the people returned to hear Rehoboam's decision, just as the king had ordered. But Rehoboam spoke harshly to the people, for he rejected the advice of the older counselors and followed the counsel of his younger advisors. He told the people, "My father laid heavy burdens on you, but I'm going to make them even heavier. My father beat you with whips, but I will beat you with scorpions." So the king paid no attention to the people, and this turn of events was the will of the Lord, for it fulfilled the Lord's message to Jeroboam son of Nebat through the prophet Ahijah from Shiloh. When all Israel realized that the king had refused to listen to them, they responded, "Down with the dynasty of David. We have no interest in the son of Jesse. Back to your homes, O Israel. Look out for your own house, O David." So the people of Israel returned home, but Rehoboam continued to rule over the Israelites who lived in the towns of Judah. King Rehoboam sent Adoniram, who was in charge of the labor force, to restore order, but the people of Israel stoned him to death. When this news reached King Rehoboam, he quickly jumped into his chariot and fled to Jerusalem. And to this day, the northern tribes of Israel have refused to be ruled by a descendant of David. When the people of Israel learned of Jeroboam's return from Egypt, they called an assembly and made him king over all Israel. So only the tribe of Judah remained loyal to the family of David. Wow. And Benjamin.
Just a bunch of...
Yeah, so Judah and Benjamin teamed up together, because remember we talked about that, I think, one of the other episodes, how Benjamin's always kind of lumped in with Judah as such a tiny little... Yeah, and surrounded by...
I think maybe you... Oh, yeah. You're talking about a long time ago? Or are you talking about recently
back.
with...
Yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of bickering and politics and
Well, it's a shame he didn't have to have this happen.
Right.
So Rehoboam is Solomon's son and becomes king after Solomon dies. And Jeroboam is the guy that God had already told through the prophet, "Hey, you're going to be the next king," but was hiding out in Egypt.
So Rehoboam should not have been king.
He was never going to be king, except for the fact that God had told had told Solomon, "Hey, listen, you're going to lose your kingdom because you're building these temples to false gods to appease your wives." And so he said, "But to honor your father, I'm not going to take it from you, but your family will not rule all of Israel. I'm just going to leave you Judah and what's the other little tribe? Benjamin, yeah, Judah and Benjamin you're going to keep, and the other 10 are going to leave you." And sure enough, here it is. This is when it happens.
Yeah. Yuck. Yeah, so I mean, there's all these little notes here in the at Life Application Study Bible, and it says Rehoboam was made king at Shechem, about 35 miles north of Jerusalem. It would have been normal to anoint the new king in Jerusalem, the capital city, but Rehoboam saw trouble brewing with Jeroboam and went north to try to maintain good relations with the northern tribes. He probably chose Shechem because it was an ancient location for making covenants. See Joshua 24.
Yeah.
When the kingdom divided, Shechem became the capital of the northern kingdom for a short time. Yeah.
Yeah, Shechem was an important town. Samuel worked out of there. There were a lot of, it was a secondary city to Jerusalem. So if Jerusalem wasn't available, then Shechem would be the next natural leadership place. But, I think the sad thing here is Rehoboam had a chance. He had a chance to take it if he had listened to wise counsel. So as you read Solomon in Proverbs, Solomon says, "Hey, with a multitude of counselors, there's safety." Solomon says, you make your plans and get good counsel, and God will guide your footsteps. And so there's so many times when Solomon advises get good counsel. And so a lot of people think when they read that just means get counsel. Mm-hmm. But clearly here there's good counsel and bad counsel. Right. So not
all counsel is
right. Yeah, not all your friends are have the kind of wisdom that you need to guide your life.
I got to tell you, I just came across this. So you're literally saying this. I don't keep your thoughts if you have more to say there.
I have lots of thoughts.
But I just literally came across this. where this woman and this guy are getting a divorce, and I've known them for years and years and years. And the wife is getting advice from all of her friends. I shouldn't say all. I should say a couple of her main friends, and they're encouraging divorce. And it's bad advice, but it's all based on their lives. So, in other words, like her friends have been through divorce, and they're talking about, oh yeah, freedom, and you deserve to be free again, and all these kinds of things. And so they're basically feeding her this advice. And so the guy, who's my friend, comes to me and says, "Hey, what can I do? Like, what can I do? Like she's not getting the right advice." And I'm not sure there's much that I can do. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try my very best to speak. So hopefully my voice carries weight in her life. But I'm just thinking to myself, geez, it is so important to put yourself around the right kind of friends, not only for advice, but just for influence. I mean, everything. Yeah. Because it doesn't just start with one piece of advice. Right. 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 It permeates. It's the tapestry of our lives that just get woven together, and every little subtle thing that we pick up, it has to do with walking with wise men shall be wise. It has to do with, surrounding yourself with godly people, the influences of our lives to inspire us and lead us versus those who will drag us down. Right. Being around people that you want to be like. I mean, these are all really important principles that we should put into place. And we need to recognize that there are negative influences. And we may say to ourselves, oh, we're strong. We won't listen to them. We won't let their lives influence ours. But inevitably over time, sometimes you just don't recognize it.
Yeah. It's amazing to me how clusters of friends go through divorce. Right? Have you ever noticed that?
Yes, I do.
It's amazing how you watch a group of friends and they're all really close, and then all of a sudden one gets divorced, and then not long after another one gets divorced, and then another one, and then they're all cheering on the last one that hasn't got a divorce yet. Right? It's amazing. Oh, come and be free. Right? Now we're all miserable, and we're all drinking too much, and we're all out on the party scene, and we're all neglecting our kids, and we're all right. All that stuff's happening too, but misery loves company. Loves it. Right. And so we want you to be miserable too. We don't want you to be happy. And it goes back to that phrase. I say it all the time. My dad used to say it all the time. You either are right now or soon shall be just like the crowd you run with. And so if you want what the people around you are getting, keep hanging out with them. If you don't want what then you need are living, then you need to live a different life, right? You need to get different group of friends. So anyways, he had this opportunity, and instead he kind of, this is an opportunity for servant leadership. So I think that the greatest thing, you read what the old men said, right? The old men said, if you're willing to be a servant to these people today and give them a favorable answer, they'll always be your loyal subjects. Now, I would not say that I think that the people always know what's best for them. Right? The people don't always know what's best.
No, not really.
But in this situation, it wouldn't have been hard for Rehoboam to look at it and go, they're right. My dad has worked these people hard for 40 years. This has been a really hard time. He collected heavy taxes because he built this giant temple. He also built, one of the richest buildings ever made. He also built the palaces. He also, built all these other cities and infrastructure. He taxed them hard, and he worked them very hard. So if Rehoboam had thought, you know what, I'm gonna step it back a little. He's not saying I'm not going to tax you anymore. He's not saying I'm not going to expect you to produce and continue to build the kingdom. But if he decided, okay, you know what, the other wise men who also knew my father, they're recommending, hey, let's dial it back a tick. You take 15% off, and I think the people would have went, okay, thank you. You gave us a margin. We get Fridays off now or Saturdays off.
And instead, he says, "Did you ever get whipped with a scorpion?"
Yeah, exactly.
you thought a whip hurt.
Yeah, my little finger is thicker than my father's waist, right? Yeah. He's saying I'm way tougher than my dad, And so this idea of servant leadership, there is something to that. If you're a leader, almost everybody has leadership or influence over somebody, whether it's your children or your grandchildren or your neighbor or your coworkers or whatever. Servant leadership, serving your people will elevate you. Taking from your people will eventually cause your people to rebel against you. And so it's not about the power. And that's the shame here, is he trades leadership for the false promise of power.
Yeah.
He thinks power is leadership, and it's not.
Well, do you remember that little tiny book by John Maxwell, The Servant Leader?
Yeah.
And it's such a small book.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like you can sit down and read that on a lunch break.
Yeah.
Right. And basically, it talks about the different types of leaders, and there's the people who think that the title is the leadership, right? Like if I have a title, then I have leadership, and then he goes through these different styles of leadership, and basically the whole point of the book is that the strongest version and the most healthy version of leadership is servant leadership, right? And a leader serves the people. A leader is willing to serve by example. All these different kinds of things, but in that book, there's a quote that says, if you what does it say? It says if you're leading and no one's following, you're
just out for a walk.
You're just merely taking a walk. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. If you're leading and no one is following, you're merely just taking a walk.
Yeah.
Which means like you can have a position,
Right.
but go ahead and try to influence your people in any given way.
Right.
And try to say, hey guys, follow me. We're doing this thing. And if nobody, supports you, if nobody loves you in that role, I don't mean loves you in general, but in that role, and nobody wants to join you, then you're just a person out taking a walk, man.
So finding a group of people who are consistently successful in the area that's important to you, that have some experience.
Yep.
That are older than you, that have lived longer than you, that have seen this problem multiple times before and navigated it successfully. Those are the wise people you want to get advice from. Your peers, who've only seen it once or twice and may or may not have been successful at it. This doesn't say that Jeroboam's peers knew anything about this at all, other than they were all a bunch of princes, right, with silver spoons in their mouth kind of people.
Right.
So you need practical wisdom from people who've done it and seen it and know how to navigate through it. And so Solomon says, in a multitude of counselors, there's wisdom. And that multitude doesn't mean you need lots and lots of counselors. What you need is a group of counselors who have wisdom in specific areas that can guide you forward. And then trust them. Sometimes people will come in and they'll want to ask me advice. And I'll usually ask, who else are you talking to? And if they give me, I'm getting advice from these people and these people and these people and these people, I like to know what you have to say. I'll always say, they're probably right. You should do what they do. Right? I don't really have any interest in spending the next hour trying to pour out wisdom and then have you just pick and choose. So I typically don't give, or if you come in and you ask, and then I ask you, well, who else are you getting advice from? And you say, well, this person, this person, this person. I'll say, well, here's what I do. Pop, 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 and that'd be it. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of time. But the person who comes and goes, listen, I think that you have experience in this area, and I think that you have success in this area, and I want to duplicate that as much as possible. What would you do? That kind of person go, okay, now that person's leaning in to my wisdom. The book of Proverbs says that wisdom's like a deep well, and a godly person will draw it out. Wells don't splash on you.
Right.
When you're walking by a well, it doesn't splash on you. You have to reach in and get it. When somebody's really digging into your wisdom, then they'll do it. So I think that there's something about that for me as well, that often I'll look around, and instead of getting 25 opinions, I'm not taking a bunch of votes and then making my decision based on the average of the votes. I think that's always going to give you a dumb answer. So instead, it's going to give you a C answer. Right. Instead, I try to find the wisest person I know in that area, or the wisest couple of people that I know in that area. And then I will go and say, I will do what you tell me to do. Mm-hmm. What should I do? And then they'll go, well, and usually wise people won't tell you exactly what to do. They'll tell you how to think. Right. Well, in this situation, this is what I would be thinking. Right. And then you kind of start to chart it out. So then once I get how to think from them, I'll come back and say, this is my plan. Do you see anything dangerous with that? And they might go, well, watch out for this. Take advantage of that. And then execute. Right. And I think if Jeroboam had done that, he wouldn't have lost his kingdom. Now, God had told Rehoboam the kingdom's being divided. So it was going to happen. Right. But it happened because Rehoboam made dumb decisions. Right.
And by the way, this is a monumental event because this marks the beginning of the division of the kingdoms that will last for centuries.
Oh, centuries and centuries and centuries. You're exactly right.
Yeah. So it's huge.
So sometimes bad advice can cost not only you, but your kingdom for generations.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, that is all the time we have. So hopefully we will see you next time on The Bible Guys.